Hey everybody. So I'm back for another review of Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 7, Episode 2, Sneak Diss. Okay. Please, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I really appreciate it. All right, so we get this episode. We start off with Twist and Brianna. Now, we didn't see them on the opening season. Twist and Brianna are checking in, they're close or whatever. Twist is on his knees praying in front of the camera. Right. Then Brianna comes, she brings him some stuff. Apparently, he's tried to stop smoking, get his life together, whatever. He said he's going to church. He cheated on his girlfriend, the last girl that we saw. I think her name was Maya. He was like, he misses her. And he cheated on her. He said he felt like he was taking advantage of her. I was just like, oh my gosh. Every time he talks, like I don't want to like him, and I really don't, but I find him very entertaining. I actually find this cast, even despite like things that annoy me, I feel like for some reason this cast has done well because we see he will pull like the plug on the show. um, this and Braxton Family Values are the only ones that have seen to stand whatever We TV's test is and Love After Lockup. But anyway, they just kind of check in and whatever. So then we get this scene with Sam in the pool and Egypt's brother Taran. So he's out there, he's just talking to him or whatever, and he's telling him about how he sat down and talked with, Tretch or whatever. And Sam did not take Tretch's advice well. Not only did he not take it well, I mean, granted, right? If you're married to Egypt, I think anybody, if you really love somebody, you do feel a way if you feel like the parents don't like you or whatever, and y'all are about to have a baby. That being said, Sam, Tretch, and Peppa have given you more than most people will ever get in their life in terms of a head motherfucking start. Okay? The way you have behaved, I would have never. I don't have a daughter, but if I had one, she wouldn't be allowed nowhere near you. You were all kinds of red flags, and they supported her to a motherfucking fault. And I think now that y'all are married is the wrong time to jump in and be like, oh, yeah, there's a problem. But nevertheless, motherfucker Trish gave you some real fucking advice, and that was to have a plan, a financial plan to take care of your wife and your child. Because he was like, he ain't taking care of no grown man. He didn't say he wanted to take care of his daughter and grandbaby. But you need to be a man, and you got the nerve to be offended, and you got the nerve to be so offended that you talking to Egypt's brother about it. Tyran gonna fuck around and help you get your ass handed to you by trash. Shit. Anyway, and he is doing exactly what narcissistic abusers do. Try to make themselves the victim and then try to get around the people that love Egypt the most and try to pull them into their clutches. Tyran wasn't falling for that, and I saw that he wasn't falling for it. Tretch is Egypt's father. I don't give a fuck what else happens. And if we have seen him do anything right, okay, from the days of Naughty by Nature, we know that this man has not lived a perfect life, and never does he claim to. But I do believe that he loves his daughter and did everything right that he thought was right to do the right thing. And I can respect that. Okay? And the way Tyrion was just, the way he was quiet and let Sam run his mouth, I was like, Tyrion don't fuck with you either. And let me tell you something. Somebody who is not like weak and just typically timid, and Tyrion has the ability to listen. First of all, I'm gonna tell you something. Tyrion was taking all the mental notes, so he could go back and take it to his father. Okay, baby, you was talking too much to family. Okay, you are not family like that. You have been allowed a space, and a space in which you don't seem to appreciate nor respect. You ain't blood, bruh. And yeah, I know Tyran is not Tretch's biological son, but as far as Tretch is concerned, that's his son. And as far as Tyran is concerned, that's his father. That's a different kind of relationship. Okay? So, Sam, slow your roll. Okay? But Sam, we knew this was bound to happen. Sam is making excuses, talking about Tretch was belittling him by asking him to do better. Negro. No. I don't even think you understand how much about this is not about really you. This is about his daughter being provided for and taken care of and not being in a situation. This is a generation wanting the next generation to have better, do better. And Trench, as far as he's concerned, has done his part, and so has Peppa. Yes, and you are significantly older than Egypt. You should have been had your shit together. I don't give a fuck that you writing for her for some songs you ain't made no money on. You've been on this show for I don't know how long. Matter of fact, we looking at you in a scene in the pool. Why ain't you somewhere filling out a job application? Make us believe or give us something to work with. Oh my gosh. You know, I wish this show had a reunion. Anyway, so we could watch them address each other as they watch these clips back. Anyway, so Sam is like, well, I've never given him a reason to think less of me. Like, if you want to help somebody, you don't put them down. No, Sam, your idea of help is him handing you some money to do what you ought to do as a man. All right, I'm not here for the bullshit. Well, he shouldn't be listening to he say, she say. Say that shit to Tretch's face. Tretch ain't no bitch. Tretch, let me tell you something. And once again, I'm not approving of any of Tretch's behavior or pretending like he was not abusive to Pepper or letting that go out the window. But let me tell you what I do know. It takes one to know one. And I think Tretch is one of them few people who really tried to get his life together and do right by his kids and struggle with some real pain and that kind of thing. Okay? Tretch is from the streets. Tretch is not only from the streets, but has been a legend and a celebrity in this motherfucking game for a minute. And if there is anything he knows how to discern, it is he say, she say bullshit. Okay? Because they was here before the age of the internet and been famous and know what it is to have rap groups and individuals against each other. And that's why he was warning Sam last season when he was like, I know where this beef go. It ends up in jail or death. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't go anywhere. And instead of you saying, you know what, I love her enough to want to impress her father, who has given me this ridiculous amount of grace in the first place. No, I'm gonna complain to her brother. You got some motherfucking issues. Let me tell you something. He ain't gonna get no better. It anyway. Okay. TT called this shit a long time ago when she was talking about some negative $300. Whatever it was. Okay. And Church and Pepper chose to support Egypt blindly with an abuser. Pepper should have learned from her situation to make sure her daughter wasn't in that situation. And Tretch should have known because it takes one to know one. And instead, I really think Tretch supported Egypt to a fault. And I'm talking about Tretch in this case. Especially once Egypt had read that part of Pepper's book where she talks about the abuse from Tretch. And I remember when she addressed her father on TV about having read that part of the book. And he got so angry and upset. And I remember watching it and I said, no, he's not angry with Pepper. He's not, and I knew he was never angry with Egypt. But the way those tears welled up in his eyes and he got angry, I remember thinking, I said, no, he's angry, but he's hurt. And he's hurt because Egypt seemed to be the first thing in his life, and this is just me, that he did right. Like he did right. Like he tried to do right by her. He tried to love her. He tried to protect her. And you could tell she's turned out to be a nice young lady. She hasn't made the best dating choices, but whatever. We all live. But I feel like she's the first thing he tried to do right. And I felt like he was so angry and hurt that the one thing he tried to do right and seemed right by the relationship he had with his daughter, he felt like that had distorted what she thought about him. And I think that broke his heart. I really don't think he was as mad at Peppa as maybe he was, saying like, why is that on TV? It's not that, I knew the book came out, but then, she did it for the first time on TV. And I really feel like after that season, I felt like Tretch felt the need to remind Egypt that, I'm that kind of hero you thought I was. And I don't want anything to break that relationship. And I think they supported to a fault. And I feel like now that they're married, they have this ridiculous, Peppa and Tretch had this ridiculous expectation that Sam was just going to step into that role. There was nothing about Sam that gave me provider or protector. He gave me freeloader and burden and deadbeat. Those were the vibes I was given from him. Okay, anyway, so then we get Devin and Sequoia, JoJo's daughter. Devin just seems really corny to me. He seems very corny to me. He seems kind of like just that, I know my father was, that I come from a really talented family and I kind of want to fit in, even though they were R&B singers with kind of like a hip hop edge in the way they dress. And I just feel like Devin kind of wants to be in that world, but that's just not who he is. But who he is a cornball. So every time I see him on my screen, I'm just not feeling him. And Sequoia, they're cousins, okay? Sequoia's working on the record. And even when we saw her go into the studio, she was clearly lip singing to the track she had already recorded in the studio for this reality show. No, ma'am. Okay? Sequoia has not rubbed me the right way since she came on this goddamn show. All right, fucking with Denise and Angela. Angela was messing with my ex baby daddy. We were in the middle of something. She knew this. I'm like, girl, how old is this child? How long ago was this? Whoever it is, Angela done been forgotten about because we done seen Angela on here with plenty of boyfriends. Okay? Well, not plenty, but enough. So I was just kind of like, okay, she's rubbed me the wrong way since. And so it was so clear that she was trying to make her mark on that show. Then she did the whole apology tour last season, hoping somebody would film with her. And clearly everybody else feels about her, most of them feel about her the way I do, that she's whack. Okay? Her mom is supposedly dating Lazy Bone. She is not fully divorced from JoJo. I don't know if it's Casey. You know. Anyway, girl, your mom is grown. She's grown. And honestly, you are too. You're a grown woman with a child. All right? Baby, this is clearly for TV. And honestly, they could have been bumping before you were even born, the way this music industry worked. But okay. And she just acts like one of those ghetto spoiled brats. Like somebody who came into money but never had the class. She had access to all this money, but with the money, they spoiled her without really raising her with certain kinds of etiquette. Like when I say like the Simmons kids are always polite and respectful, you can tell even when they walk in the room and the way they've carried themselves on TV, they were raised right. I don't know any other way to say it. Okay. I'm not saying they were raised perfectly, but you could tell they were raised to know better and certain lines not to cross, and certainly in public that you don't carry out certain behavior. Okay. Because if there's one thing about me that anybody has ever learned, let me tell you something. If we have an argument, we have a fight, we have a disagreement, we do that stuff in private. We don't ever do it in public. And if you pull that with me, it'll be the last time you pull it. I don't even stay friends with nobody who pulls and stuff like that. But anyway, and I'm just sitting up here like, okay, Sequoia is up here complaining about, well, my father has diabetes. I totally understand you having a concern for your father. But you also have a role as his daughter and as a grown adult as his daughter. Okay? To ask your mom, and I refuse to believe that for 20 years, Tiny, as a woman, as a black woman who stayed with him, was not giving her all, and I'm sure given a whole hell of a lot more than she was ever given back or with, and tried to hang in there. Sequoia, you're grown. You go and you take care of that shit if your mom's not doing it. And he's been known as a philanderer, as an alcoholic, as an abuser. And I feel like it is very selfish of you to sit on TV and dog your mom out like that without talking to her. But I'm going to get to that in a second. So then we get to this little scene with Tretch, Chrissy, and Tiny, and they meet up at the restaurant. This is clearly growing up hip hop. I like the show, but it is so clearly like set up. Like these scenes that people have where they just be bringing up people. We know that's not what y'all would talk about, nor would y'all hang out with each other like this. So she asked Tretch, I mean, not Tretch, but his wife mentions that Egypt is pregnant, and she asked him, what you think about it? And Tretch is one of the people you want to ask before you react like, oh, congratulations. Kind of feel his energy. So Tretch is okay with being a grandfather, but he is not okay with this ninja having a case and not having a regular income and not having a way to take care of his grandbaby and them other babies he got. Okay? Tretch is keeping count. All right, so Tiny is clearly a grown woman, and this is just what I can tell, okay, who tried to stick it out with her husband out of love, but she can't want for him what he didn't want for himself. Okay? Alcoholics do need help, but often through rehab with real professionals that can help them. I'm not saying that people have to leave when things are not perfect, but I am saying I know black women, and black women, the way they're socialized and the way they're shamed in places like in church for not doing everything perfect for a black man who just has it so fucking hard, while we're dealing with depression and anxiety, higher suicide rates among young black girls, and everything else. We're supposed to keep it together. Okay? So what I'm not gonna do is sit here and shame her and be a part of that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Okay? You need help. And it's not that I don't feel for him as an alcoholic, but as long as he has a romantic partner like his wife, who he can be dependent on, and I can tell you right now, she is not the cause or the root of his alcoholism. She's not. Which means that she as an individual can't fix it. All right? I'm just putting that out there. Then she talks about, he was like, well, how things going with you and Lazy, Tretch and Chrissy are asking. Tretch, you made it worse. When she was like, yeah, well, Sequoia doesn't know. He was like, Nisi don't know? And the way he said that, I was like, damn, Tretch, you making this worse. And I think Tretch was like, you need to hurry up and take care of that. And I think Tretch has come a long way because he gives actually real good sound advice. I just wish he would have been more vigilant with Egypt and given her that advice. Because the first thing people can throw back at you is like, well, you didn't do such and such. But I think he's grown. He's grown. So, Tiny, I think you have every right to be happy, period. I am not naive enough to look at this relationship like JoJo as a celebrity, as a former singer in Jodeci or in Casey and JoJo has been so dedicated to his wife for 20 years and family. He's never cheated on her. He's never done anything. She's tired. Okay? She's done her hurting and her mourning for that marriage, and her daughter needs to come up off of it. Okay? I think she has the right to want to know, yes, and not be blindsided. But her issue is also that her parents are unofficially divorced. Your mother did her part, hon. Sis, you're a grown woman with a baby, and you need to be a grown woman about this one. Okay? And if you care that much for your father, then you step in. Because he has clearly made enough money to help you not have a real job, but be walking around in the latest fashions and have your weave and everything else and not have a job. Okay? Anyway, so we get Lazy Bone and Tiny. They chilling. 40, 50-year-old love. But okay, this scene, like I said, you could tell growing up hip hop just like forces people. Their chemistry didn't seem forced, but you could tell they said, look, we want y'all to film. Anyway, so we get Egypt and Tretch. Egypt is such a daddy's girl. I hate that she's caught up with Sam. So he comes to talk to his daughter, and she shows him the ultrasound, and Tretch is retroactively concerned when he should have been proactively concerned. Like I said, there were so many red flags with Sam that even as I watched it, I was just like, why the fuck is TT the only one saying something about this? Okay? Now I explained why I thought he let that go, but I don't give a shit. Now she in it. Um and she was like, well, Dad, I'll take any advice. And she's showing him the ultrasound. And he said, you just gonna need some barf bags. And he talks about how Peppa used to throw up on the side of the stage and then go back to work. And he was like, she was a trooper. But I, saw her do that. And, that was obviously Tretch's, I think that was his first child, Egypt. And I just think for him, I think it's different in his mind. One, he now knows more about being a father. Two, I also think Tretch is looking back on it like, yeah, we had to hustle. Yeah, we were rap stars, but we had to work for that. Egypt didn't have to, doesn't have that same, have that push for a come up in a sense, right? So yeah, your mother was barfing and then had to get back up on stage and figure it out. But I just feel like he is so pissed, he can't hide it. But I don't feel like he's pissed out of like this controlling mechanism. I think he's pissed that they don't have a plan. He makes it so clear. He was like, babies cannot eat plans and they can't eat dreams. I need to know what y'all are going to do and how y'all going to do it. And he was like, look, you need to stay stress free, clearly referring to her miscarriage and that kind of thing. Um, and he was like, you're a worry wart. I know you. She was like, yeah, I know I worry. He was like, no, you got to stay stress free. Something just tell me Tretch is gonna pop Sam, and it's gonna be a whole thing. And before we know it, both of them gonna be in jail. I don't want that, but I'm just saying I'm getting that vibe. All right, so then we get Lil Easy E and Aaliyah, and they come to Lazy Bone and Tiny's party. Okay, let me just go and say this. All right, E, I just feel like he's bitch made in a lot of ways, and I'll explain why in a moment. But Aaliyah, they walking on them flirting, grown people to grown people. Honestly, cut it out. Okay, Aaliyah is another one I just don't care for. She has a real grungy kind of look. Like no Tino Shade, but she's one of those people that it doesn't matter how much money she has or what kind of restaurant she can eat at or what kind of neighborhood she lives in. She will always have that hood like behavior and approach. And I don't mean you come from humble beginnings. That's not what I mean. I mean hood like approach to things. Okay, like that ghetto mentality, like that start a fight wherever I go. Let me start something. Let me start something. No, I'm dead ass wrong. Um, like you can even tell like her wardrobe in the confessional. Really, is that how you dress as somebody's mama with 3 kids? Okay. All right. Anyway, but it didn't look put together. It just doesn't look put together. And there's nothing about her that gives off money. You know, like the Simmons, or even hell, even Cree. Like she doesn't look put together, and I just don't understand why. Like I can't. But I'm sure she's a nice lady. I'm sure she's a good mother. Anyway, and I'm just like, why is Aaliyah asking about Lazy's relationship? Aaliyah, we know y'all trying to make money to be on TV. You can tell Easy is a cheater, okay? Because whenever women ask those kind of questions, like, oh, what are they doing together? This and the other, he didn't get quiet. I ain't saying that there ain't such things as quiet cheaters. Just quiet and just shrug, because that's usually to get women just to stop talking about it. But he started doing that. You tell me, women know how to find that stuff out. Yeah, because y'all done been through that. Ain't none of my business. Yeah, because he don't want nobody digging up his stuff. And it probably don't take much digging. Aaliyah looks like she wanted to be the queen baby mama. Because he got what? 7, 8 kids? And she has 3 of them. She seemed like that kind. And still fight the other baby mamas in the street. She seems like that kind. Just saying. All right, she gonna curse him out and fight him, but she gonna stay married. Okay, cause I got the ring. She one of them. All right, Vanessa and Cree go into the party. So Cree tells Vanessa about Angela trying to sing, and Vanessa, in her classy way, just gives this face like, "Are you kidding me?" And she said, first of all, we were like in a group, like when we were younger, years ago, and basically we were like Destiny's Child, and I was kind of like, okay. And she was like, Angela didn't even make it through the first 2 months. Yeah, and that's when y'all were younger, and now y'all in y'all 30s. Yeah, Angela, we know this is a joke. Yes, singing is serious as an art, and it's even more difficult to make it a career and make money. We know you don't have to be talented to make it as a singer. It's about promotion and that kind of thing. Anyway, we get Twist and Kiana. I honestly thought this was the girl he that dumped him or whatever. But anyway, Kiana looks like she has had several facelifts and done a ridiculous amount of work to her face, but she's still young, but she made herself look old. Okay. So TT and Sean show up. We haven't seen them in a while. TT looks great. She is snatched. And she's still going. Now, I typically don't like people on the show who don't make sense, like the niece or the cousin of. I'm just like, this be too much. But for some reason, I find TT's presence, even though, like, I just find her incredibly bougie and annoying at times, I do find her consistent. And I think the thing about TT is she's managed to be herself, create a character on this reality show that when she's not there, we want to know where she is. And everybody hasn't been able to do that in reality TV. So I got to give that to TT. So Sequoia walks in and she gave her mom a smug hello. Like she was looking at a bitch on the street. Let me tell you something. I'm 35 years old. I wouldn't know how to do that to my mother. I could not conceptualize behaving like that toward my mother, even as a grown woman. And I'm not talking about, oh, my mother would walk up to me and smack me across my face. Like, just out of respect and how she's raised me, I would not even know how to have acted like that. Girl, you are all the way out of order. And I don't like you. All right. So just everything about her is ghetto and disrespectful. So then Aaliyah's running her mouth too much. She was like, well, I may be talking too much. Yes, you were. But Sequoia, you walked past your mother and didn't talk to her. And then you getting mad. Why it's I can't believe I gotta hear this from somebody else. Well, you kinda didn't. My mom not picking up her phone. Okay, well text her. And you damn sure shouldn't have showed up at your mama and Lazy Bones party and then acting like you so confused. Girl, bye. So Sequoia is the kind of kid that I feel like was very accommodated and spoiled and had a baby early, which is that's not judgment. But what I'm saying is she wasn't forced or expected to meet certain standards throughout her life in order to continue her or to develop independence. And so when you grow up with an ungrateful spirit but an expectation of parents and the people, that's why she does not have good friendships or relationships with anybody on this cast, because she has no idea how to relate to people appropriately. And apparently it's too late. She doesn't simply need therapy. She needs etiquette because it's bothering me. It's really getting to me, her rudeness. Okay? Anyway, Sequoia, you were talking to everybody about your mother's situation, except your mother. At the party, her and Lazy Bone are throwing. TT, that confessional was funny when you were talking about it, but please take that headband off. It is distracting and look a hot ass mess. Anyway, so Cree and Brianna got into it. What's new? Okay, so because Brianna said, well, she had gave her a compliment on her dress or whatever, and Brianna was like, well, oh, hello, you didn't speak to me. And she was like, I spoke to everybody. Okay, we know Brianna is making a mountain out of a molehill. She didn't feel seen, and that's, always her issue. Cree was like, I did. Now, Cree, when they get into it, when they decide this isn't about that, and Cree was like, yeah, I spoke to you even though you sneak this me. And she was like, I don't sneak this. I don't like you. And I'll tell you that to your face. And I was like, well, that's kind of true. But Cree read the entire fuck out of Brianna when she was like, you read tarot cards and I read the Bible. We are not the same person. Da-da-da. And Brianna goes, did you practice this? Did you practice this? Okay. And okay, I'm not gonna lie. I got the vibe that yes, she had practiced that, but Brianna, if that's the case, the next time y'all have a scene, I'm gonna need you to have something more prepared too, cause she did get you. It may have been rehearsed, but she got you. Anyway, I don't even like Cree. I think actually Cree is a very capable and smart person. I can tell. But my problem with her and the reason why I don't like her, she refuses to de-escalate situations. Brianna, you did sneak this her on live, okay? And like Brianna, this once again, this is what I'm talking about with the growing up hip hop cast, right? Like it's weird how it's managed to work, but everybody has kind of carved out a space. Not everybody, but some people. Brianna's grown on me. I totally understand why somebody wouldn't like Brianna. Why Brianna's fucking obnoxious. I totally get it. Like I do think she's problematic, but I also think she is funny, so she adds value to the show. I also think she is a deeply loyal person to people she considers her friends. I do. I just think she has a very hard shell, and I think she knows that she's wrong a lot of times and has difficulty admitting it. And when we see her in the confessional, she's funny. So, like I'm saying, she's bringing something to the table. Cree, your time on the show, the first few episodes when you first came on, I thought started out good. I was like, you know what, she's got a good head on her shoulders. I know she's had a rough relationship with her father, but you know what, I like her story. Um, but you quickly became more of a bone carrier and an overreactor, and it just became like you wanted to be a reality star instead of using reality TV for something else. And I'm not here for it. I'm just not here for it. I'm not. Brianna told her, not in my birthday month, bitch. Right? Okay, that's not the part that got me. The part that got me was when she said that, turned around in that green dress. and she had coconut water in her hand. I said, wait a second, Brianna's acting like this and she not even this bitch had coconut water in her hand. I said, I can't. Anyway, Cree went outside. Like, they had the argument. Cree goes outside and immediately finds the group as they kind of chilling. They had actually kind of settled down, chilling, and started telling everybody what happened between them. Cree, this is what I mean. Like, even if you just go somewhere and chill or find Vanessa and just say, Vanessa, can't talk to you for a second because I just, you won't believe this, it just happened. Like, just that. But the fact that you had to go out there and tell the whole group, that shit was whack. It was whack. So TT got her ass up. She didn't even acknowledge her presence. And TT walked in and was like, you know what team I'm on? She's so messy. Um, and TT doesn't fuck with Crit. We know that. All right. Sequoia, you're coming off like a pick me. Because you follow TT in there and something tells me you don't like TT. Even if you haven't shown it yet, I can tell you the kind of chick that's not going to like TT and going to try to pick with her. I can tell. And that's when Brianna going to show her entire ass. Okay? You can tell she just wants to be in with the crew to get the most camera time. She's one of those. All right. So Sequoia continues talking about her mother and the situation, but this time to Twist. Yes, Twist pulled her aside. She could have said, you know what, I appreciate it, but I just really don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay? They start flirting. And I started thinking, well, where did Twist date Kiana go? Who doesn't really look like her name should be Kiana, but we're not gonna do that. And why did she come to the party? He's mad disrespectful. But I feel like she just wanted to be on TV, but still, it was cringy, disrespectful. So Twist is flirting with Sequoia in front of this chick. I just can't. So Easy, this is why I say I'm back to my point about E being a bitch ass. Okay, he gives me bitch ass vibes. I'm not gonna even go back to last season when he told TT about Egypt being pregnant. He knew that she didn't know. That's why he asked, "Oh, did you know you were going to be an auntie?" And but unbeknownst to you, and the moment you wanted to make on TV, TT knows how to keep her cool under pressure, just like Vanessa. So even though her mouth dropped, she got it together real quick. So the Vanessa, now Brianna in true Brianna form said, "Oh my God." Now Brianna's reaction was what the probably 80% of America who's watching this reacted to like that. Okay, I just want Egypt to be well and to have a healthy pregnancy. God bless her. I don't like saying, but God bless her. Okay, Easy. Now that TT knows, and now that you just tried to make a scene like that on TV saying, I just wanted to see, make sure she knew. What were you going to do to help the situation? What were you going to do to help bring TT and Egypt back closer together? Nothing. So you were going to use somebody else's family situation for a scene. You are a bitch. You're a bitch. And I don't respect a man who acts like that. Brianna's reaction, yeah, we got it. But Egypt, I hope you have a healthy pregnancy. Y'all, I know this a little bit longer. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great weekend. Hang in there.